I know you must have heard about Titanic before, but we've had some series of stories behind it also on why it sank. But why did the Titanic exactly sink? Why did the Titanic sink? So these are the 5 reasons why Titanic actually sank. So number 5 is that the Titanic actually had a small amount of lifeboats on it. So normally on a ship that big, you have to have lifeboats of over 75 to 100 on a ship that size, looking at Titanic size. But the Titanic had only 25 lifeboats on it. This means that even when the Titanic crashed, there was not enough boats to transfer the people, to keep the people safe from the ship to the harbour. So it's more like created more risks, created more deaths for those who were on the ship. Number 4 is that binoculars. Based on when it was built, then they use binoculars to check what's ahead of them, what they want to go and meet in the front. But as at the time the Titanic was on sail, there was no binoculars on the ship. The sailor was not with his binoculars, the assistant was not there was no binoculars on the ship. So what was ahead, they could not see it. The iceberg, they could not see it. Whether a storm was coming, they could not see it. Whether they were about to crash into another ship, they could not just see anything that was up front in their on the sail. Now we're about to enter the top theory. The top theory dangerous things on why the Titanic actually sank. So number 3 was actually the captain. The captain was already told that there was an iceberg ahead by other ships who have sailed through that place the day earlier that day. But the captain did not listen. The captain was like, "Oh, I'll go further a little, then before I get to the iceberg, I'll divert." Not knowing that the iceberg were more like closer than was even explained to him by the other ships, closer than he himself expected. And the water was not just like stable, the water was also freezing. So the iceberg was more like going, and also since it's on water, some of them actually ended up colliding with each other, so they became a big pile and the ship actually ran into it. The design also affected the ship because unlike a normal of a ship that size, it has to have a big base for more water displacement. Yeah, it had a big base for more water displacement, but right underneath it was a weak spot there. If you notice, especially in the movie, you notice that the ship split into two. It's not like as if the thing just split into two for just no reason. It was that underneath that part which split into two was a small technical error, and there was a crack in between that place, which caused the water to have entered into some parts of the engine, which was already eaten up already, causing some kind of confusion with the engines. It was already eaten up already, which was really dangerous for those people who were on board. And immediately it struck with an iceberg which was ahead of it. It actually became an outright disaster, which caused a lot of lives. So it wasn't like as if the thing just it wasn't like as if it just split into two. No, there was already a technical error underneath the ship itself before it split into two. And number 1, the major reason why the Titanic actually sank, the major reason why Titanic actually sank was because of the owner. You must have heard of the story before when they were talking about design of the ship with the owner, stuff like that. And the owner gave a negative statement, a statement that actually cost the life of a lot of people. The owner said, "Even God cannot sink the ship." As at that moment, he did not realize who God was. It was after the ship sank he realized who God was. And the funniest part was that it did not only put himself in danger, but also puts the life of everybody on that ship in danger. So that's what you should know about Titanic. Titanic did not just sink. There were some things that made it to sink. God was actually part of the things that made it to sink before the iceberg. So I'm sure that God was the one that caused all those things to happen before the iceberg. So that's what you should know about Titanic, this impact intelligence, and I'll catch you guys in the very next one. Impact someone's life with your intelligence, and I'll catch you there. Bye.